Hello, I am Mary. Today I'll be dealing with a brief introduction to algebraic structures. There are four basic algebraic structures: the groupoid, semi-group, monoid, and the most important one, the group. Today we'll be dealing with a brief history of algebra, the need of algebra, the group structures, and finally the group axioms. The word algebra is derived from the Arabic word algebra, which means reunion of broken parts. It was introduced by the Persian mathematician Muhammad ibn Musa al-Kharazmi, who is also known as the father of modern algebra. He developed an explanation for algebraic solution of quadratic equations. What is algebra? In simple terms, algebra is a study of mathematical symbols and the rules for handling these symbols. The preliminary step to learning algebra is the arithmetic, which we all have learned at the school level. We have learned to add elements, subtract elements, multiply numbers, and so on. Algebra takes the arithmetic to the very next level of binary operation, which is an abstract notion of addition, multiplication, and so on. Arithmetic usually asks questions like what is 3 plus 4, what is 3 into 4, and so on. But algebra, on the other hand, asks questions like if x plus 5 is equal to 7, what is the value of x? Learning algebra helps us to develop critical thinking skills that includes problem solving, logic, patterns, and reasoning. Whenever life throws a math problem at you, for example, when you have to solve an equation or work out a geometrical problem, algebra is usually the best solution. Algebra trains your brain to solve problems. For example, consider the question. Find two numbers which when added gives 50 and subtracted gives 70. Let's tackle it algebraically. Name the unknowns as x and y. So we have the equations x plus y is equal to 50 and x minus y is equal to 70. See, is remodeled into a simultaneous algebraic equation. Abstract algebra. From arithmetic, we move on to more abstract sets. We change the scenario from the known number systems to any arbitrary sets. Then and there lies the development of abstract algebra. Let's see the properties of addition. We are all familiar with the properties, but still, we just revise through it. Consider a set of integers. To apply the operation addition, we need two integers. Later, this plus will be abstractly or more generalizedly known as binary operation. Two integers added give us another integer, which can also be called as the closure property. Also, a plus parenthesis b plus c is equal to parenthesis a plus b plus c. That is, the order doesn't matter, which is also known as the associative property. When an integer is added to 0, gives the same number, which is identity property. Also, any number m added with its negative gives us the 0 or the identity. Minus m is usually known as the inverse. From addition to the abstract notion of binary operation. The abstract or generalized notion of addition is known as the binary operation. An operation star is called binary operation if it takes two values on a set G and produces a third element. And if the third element belongs to the same set G, then we call the operation as closed. The basic building blocks. Any set G equipped with a closed binary operation star is called a groupoid. For example, the set 0 and 1 with multiplication is a groupoid. Remember that the above structure is not a groupoid under addition because 1 plus 1 is equal to 2, which is not belonging to the set. Semigroup. A groupoid with an additional property to the operation star gives us the next structure, semigroup. If in G star, the star has the associative property, that is, before as we saw in addition, A star B star C is equal to A star B star C, then the structure is called a semigroup. For example, set of natural numbers with addition as binary operation. Monoid. To the semigroup G star, if we add another property, that is the existence of identity. If we have an element E that should be unique for every A belonging to G with the condition that A star E is equal to E star A equal to A. That is, when A is operated with the E, right side or left side, no matter which side, you should get the same number. That is, you should get the A in return. Then the E is called the identity element. For example, the set of all whole numbers under addition is a monoid where 0 is the identity element. Such an algebraic structure is called a monoid. Remember that n plus is not a monoid. It's just a groupoid because 0 does not belong to the set. Now coming to group. A monoid G star which has the property that to each A belonging to G, there exists an element A inverse such that A star A inverse is equal to E. Similarly, A inverse star A is also equal to E. Then, the structure, the monoid, is called a group. Example, the set of integers under addition. Also, in addition to the above property, if it satisfies the commutativity property, that is A star B gives the same output as B star A, then it is called an abelian group. Group axioms. A group G is an algebraic structure satisfying the following conditions: closure property, associativity, identity, and inverse. These four properties are called the group axioms. Examples of group: set of integers and addition, set of real numbers and addition, collection of all 2 by 2 matrices with real numbers as entries is again a group under matrix addition. N plus is not a group, just like we told earlier, it is just a groupoid as well as a semi-group. W and star is not a group. Similarly, R star is not a group, where star stands for the multiplication, of course, because in a real number system, 0 does not have an inverse under multiplication. Generalization of these structures will lead us to far more abstract notions of rings and fields. These are a few references. John B. Fraley's First Course in Algebra is a very good book for beginners. Also, you can refer Algebra Volume 1 of P.M. Cohen and Joseph J. Rothband's First Course in Abstract Algebra. Thank you all. Enjoy learning algebra.